Think your best investment is stocks or gold? Think again. What if I told you that building wealth, having financial freedom, getting tax write-off is right under your roof? Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth why your home is not just for walls. It's your freedom, it's your ticket to financial freedom. So I had a couple come into my office and we talked about buying a house. They really want to buy a house. They don't have a lot of money, minimum down payment. And as we were chatting, I mentioned to them that did you know that when you buy a home, you're not buying four walls. You're buying financial freedom, you're buying tax write-off, you're buying stability, on and on and on. And they were shocked and glued to what I was saying. So I'm going to talk about the 5 or 6 things I mentioned to them. In fact, they were so excited. We went out in the weekend, have written out 2 offers, and we are waiting for the response back, hopefully today. And soon they'll become homeowners because they did not believe that buying a house is buying 4 walls. It's much more than that. Let's analyze what buying 4 walls is today. So the first thing about buying a house is you have to understand that you're not buying 4 walls. You're not buying buildings. You're buying stability and wealth. So let's talk about wealth. Buying a house is long-term wealth creation. If you are renting, you are throwing away your money. Sorry to say that. But when you buy a house and you're paying your mortgage payment year after year after year, over time, not only are you paying your mortgage, but you are building equity because every year you are building anywhere from 3 to 5% appreciation on your house. Yes, the house may go up and it may come down, but in the long term, if you look at the 30, 40-year history, the appreciation has been around 3 to 5% depending on your area. So if you buy a house today for let's say $1 million, in 20, 30 years, it'll double or triple. This is wealth creation without doing anything. All you're doing is you're paying your rent, but it's your mortgage payment. And while you're paying your mortgage payment, time, they all say time is a healer, but guess what? Time is also a wealth creator. While you bought your house, while you're paying it every year, 10, 15, 20 years later, it has doubled or tripled in value. And you just built a lot of wealth. So that's one of the biggest advantages of buying these darn 4 walls. The other major advantage of buying a house, buying your 4 walls, and a lot of investors do that. Did you know that a lot of investors who buy income property, investment property, not only do it to build long-term wealth, but they also do it to save on taxes right now. So immediately, or in next year or this year, they save on taxes. So just as you buy a house, you have significant tax advantages versus being a non-homeowner. As you are paying your mortgage payment and as you are paying your property taxes, every year, all those mortgage interest payments add up. That property tax, which is on average anywhere from 1 to 1.5% of your purchase price, and it goes up every year. Those property taxes, those mortgage payments are deductible. Also, when you buy a house, you have closing costs, you have settlement fees, you have escrow fees, title fees. All those fees are deductible. Of course, talk to your accountant. I'm not an accountant, but a lot of fees are deductible. So by owning a house, you get major tax deductions and you get possibly refunds. The other advantage also is, let's say you bought a house today for $250,000 and after 15 years, you sell it for $600,000. Now you have capital gains tax that you have to pay. But I'm in California, so when I sell that home, I have, if I'm married, a capital gains allowance or credit up to $250,000 per person. So if I'm married, I can have a capital gains savings for up to $500,000. So that's another advantage when you go sell your house. So big tax advantages. A lot of the basic home buyers never think about tax advantages, but here it is, now you know. The third advantage of buying a house is it is a forced savings mechanism. The fourth reason buying a house builds you wealth and you're not buying just 4 walls is it gives you stability and predictability. Stability is in the sense that when you buy a house, it's your house. Nobody's going to check you out. Nobody's going to give you a 30 or 60-day notice. When you're renting, after a year or 2 years, when your contract expires, landlord may give you an eviction notice and say, hey, move out because they want to sell or they want to have the family move in or they want to move in. But when you own a house, you are there forever until you choose to move. The other thing is your predictability of your payments. When you are a renter, rents go up 2 to 3% per year on average. In fact, in the last 4 or 5 years, they've gone up 5 to 6% every year. So if you are renting, and depending on your contract, your rent has gone up and up and up, and it'll keep going up. But when you buy a house, and let's say your mortgage payment is fixed for 30 years, you got a fixed interest rate payment, and if it's $2,000 a month, that means that for the next 30 years, your payment will be $2,000 a month, period. Nobody can increase it. Nobody can give you eviction. You're going to stay in your house and you're going to have the same payments over and over for the next 30 years. That's a very strong predictability. So while your salary is going up, while your income's going up, your mortgage payment stays the same. And the difference, you can use it to your advantage in savings or investments or anything you want to do. So that's one of the biggest advantage that we have, is that your payments are fixed, assuming you get a fixed payment. And most loans, when they get it, is a fixed payment. If for some reason you have to get an adjustable rate loan, like right now the rates are high, so a lot of the buyers are getting adjustable rate mortgages. But after they drop, when the interest rates drop, maybe 1% or 2% or 1.5% or whatever, you can always refinance it with a fixed mortgage rate and then lock in your payment for the next 20, 30 years. The other very important advantage of owning these 4 walls is that if you are renting, if you want to make any changes, or if you want to paint the color, change the carpet, or do anything outside, assuming it's a house, you have to take the permission, written permission from your landlord to do what you want to do. They may allow it, they may not allow it. But when you own your own house, you can do whatever you want with the house. You can do an extension, you can add a pool, you can change the colors, you can do landscaping, anything you want to do. You customize your home to your taste. You don't have to ask anybody other than your family that you own with and decide what you want to do. A big advantage, a big freedom of owning a house. If I'm owning a house, $250,000, $300,000, $500,000, $1 million, I can do whatever I want to do. And if I'm paying my own mortgage, let me do what I want to do. When you're renting, obviously, that's not possible. So this is an advantage of owning those darn 4 walls. Before I give you the last very important reason why your home is not just 4 walls, is that if you have any questions, if you need any information or resources on the advantages or disadvantages of buying a home, or how to buy a house, or how to talk to a lender, how much am I qualified for, I have a link below in the contact form. Contact me and I will refer you to a great agent or a lender in your neighborhood, or I myself will call you and answer any questions you may have. I'd love to help people, especially first-time home buyers. Also, at the end of the video, just in a few seconds, I will have a link to a video I did, which you may want to look at. It talks about how you can get a loan with a 0% down. It's an FHA loan. You may want to take a look at it. So this last point I want to make about the advantage of buying just 4 walls, or when you buy a house, it's not just 4 walls, is that after you've paid for 15, 20, 30 years, assuming you made some accelerated payments, or you waited for 30 years and made off your payments, your house is now free and clear. So as you retire or as you grow older, after 30 years, you don't have any payments. So you own the house, you've done it the way you want it, and now you can stay in there for the rest of your life and you have 0 payments. What an advantage. What a freedom of life that is. Making sure that you have no payments for the rest of your life. That's freedom.